there's always like a lot of things to talk about in general, and like one of the things about like doing a podcast is being able to keep conversations going because like the entire thing like with podcasts is that you got to make sure that the conversation is going. You got to make sure that you stick with your well, not stick with your topics because topics tend to come out like out of the blue.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, it's about sticking to the topics, but also not relying too heavily on them. Because the last thing you want is to force yourself to talk about something that you probably don't want to talk about.
Yeah. The thing about podcasts is you just gotta. It's people just like hearing about their favorite things, and sometimes it's just funny when they go off on a tangent, and it's like, oh wow, we talked about SpongeBob for quite a while.
Yeah, I know. I had this one guy, dude's screen name's Weaponsmith. Me and him were talking about YouTube drama for a bit, and we were talking about I think the quarantine, and then out of nowhere he started going on this tangent about racism and how there are all those there are a lot of people in the black community that think that they should just be given things because their ancestors were going through all these tough times, and
Yeah.
he himself is of African American descent, so he disagrees with a lot of things that people do, which I probably shouldn't. Are you still streaming?
I am, but
Okay. I don't want to get like too like I don't want to.
too political with it.
Yeah, I don't want to get like too political because I don't know like what the deal is. I don't know how hell or how well Twitch.
Nah, honestly, I've got friends who say the N word sometimes while I'm streaming with them. So,
Oh,
if I'm due to be banned on Twitch, it's coming soon.
oh, okay. Well then, that makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, it's all about like once again, it's all about sticking to topics, but not relying too heavily on them. Like to me, preparing for podcasts and coming up with topics beforehand is like an icebreaker, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's all about breaking the ice and it's all about like getting out of it's like getting out of the start gate in a way. Because like you don't want to completely wing it, but you also don't want to like cuz
you don't want to have two varying topics because then it's just like someone clicked on it for video games, but then we're talking about something completely different.
yeah, I know.
Definitely makes podcasting an interesting form of entertainment.
Yeah, I'm trying to pursue a career in radio and broadcasting.
Yeah, you can definitely get there. Just take some practice and also finding the right outlets.
Yeah. I actually just last night I looked up degrees for broadcasting and radio, and one of them was broadcasting, and another one was journalism. I might see if I can. I want to get really good at it because I tend to freeze up when I'm talking a lot. Like the way I'm talking right now, where I know where I'm going to say as I'm saying it, I'm not so good at that. So
Yeah, that was kind of one thing I was a little freaked out about coming on today. I was like, well, I'm a good talker, but like a lot of times I'll say like a couple words and then my mind just goes blank.
yeah, that happens with me all the time. Whether it's off camera, whether it's on camera, it just it's all about finding that rhythm and going with it.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I feel like I would be better at twitching than YouTubing because YouTube is like a quick sprint where you create a whole bunch of entertainment in like a 2 hour session and then you edit it down into like 20 minutes. But like
Yeah, I know.
streaming, I can go for like 4 hours and like not say anything but still have good content, you know?
Yeah. Um, like the entire thing. Oh, it looks like there's a new filter on Newgrounds. The entire thing with YouTube, and I've been doing YouTube for like 4 years. You can like edit it down. So if you say something that you should not have said,
Yeah.
um, you can just go back and cut it out, as opposed to like when you're live on the air and they hear it happening as it's
Yeah.
happening.
Which is one of the problems with when people have controversy on Twitch or whatever. It's like, okay, well, I mean, they were live and they make mistakes, but then you can also see how people be like, well, I mean, they shouldn't have made the mistake in the first place.
Hmm.
and
Yep.
it's just like if you want to talk about like PewDiePie's like whole thing where he said the N
Hmm.
word on stream, and
Yeah.
it's like, and then you could be like, yeah, well, he shouldn't have said it in the first place. But then you can also be like, well, I mean, he was live and also was like in the heat of a moment and it just slipped out. Like, why would he have to get banned just because of one word that he accidentally said?
I know. Well, I mean, in their defense, PewDiePie was kind of PewDiePie's like a big influence, and he's like a big role model
Yeah,
for millions of people, and I mean like millions. I'm sure half of the country is subscribed to him by now. Um, where was I even going?
but yeah, I get that. I get that. Where the fact that he's a huge influencer and him saying that one word can have like hundreds of little kids or even just other people just think that, well, I mean, he said it. Why can't I say it? You know?
Exactly.
And I understand that part of it, but then, and that's also what I hate about media and the whole and a bunch of other things like celebrities and stuff. It's like they are still human and they make mistakes. Just because they said it doesn't mean you should, or just because they are doing drugs doesn't mean you should be doing drugs, like kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, I know.
and that's why I kind of hate today's day and age. But that's for another
And
whole
PewDiePie
topic.
handled it like a champ too. Like he came clean the next day, and he's like, "Yes, I said this word on stream. I should not have said it. There was no reason for me to have said it because there's no excuse. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses
Yeah.
when there is no excuse to be made for what I did."
Yeah, and that was like, and that's good and genuine, but like no one, but like the media always looks at the one bad thing you do and doesn't like take their
And
other
holds it.
stuff that
Yeah,
they're
as opposed
doing.
to Katerina, where he just sit there and made excuses literally the entire time. Uh, wait, are you still there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, yeah, my bad. My headphones were off, and I sort of. I'm sorry. I'm texting my father. Looks like we're getting Raising Canes tonight.
Ooh, yum.
Um, I do want to let you know, if you are still streaming, I just want to ask, is it okay if I use the footage after I finished recording and like post it to my second channel as like an outtake or an extra?
From my stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Um, but yeah, the entire Caterino thing, like the Caterino thing, just she literally just made excuses for herself and tried to excuse like all these actions, like because keep in mind she cheated on Call Me Carson, who is already going through depression, already going through so many different things in his life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he had Fitz to lean on. Like he and Fitz were good friends, so when she went and cheated on him with Fitz, she came up with the apology video, but made all these excuses like, "Oh, I have mental depression. I didn't know what I want." Like, shut up. That doesn't excuse your actions. You still did a very bad thing to Carson, and not once did you say you were sorry to Carson. So why should we feel sympathetic for you when you did all of these horrible things? Like when you did this horrible thing to him, and you're trying to deflect the blame off of yourself, and then Fitz comes through on Twitter and he just straight up apologizes. Like, I'm sorry I did this to you, man. If you still want to be friends, that's cool. But if you don't, that's okay. I'm sure the friends you do have will have your back 100%.
Yeah, it's I hate drama like this. It's always gets to a point where no one is benefited. Like the person harmed and the people that did the harming just end up being everyone just gets just no one is benefited from any of it. Like things like that should also be settled in a personal matter too. Like don't take it to YouTube. Don't like post an apology video on YouTube. Just go to the person and say I'm sorry and don't even take it to light. Like
Yeah,
if it
I
happened
guess.
on the media, apologize on the media. If it happened outside of the media, apologize outside of the media.
Yeah, I know. Carson, he tended to, how do I put it? Oh yeah. He said that he was kind of in the wrong as well because he kind of made the situation public. Like he posted on it. He posted to it on his Twitter, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened after that? If I remember correctly, he posted it online, and people figured out that she was cheating, and she started getting all of this public backlash. So I feel like she made the apology video on her YouTube, in response to all of the public backlash.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's in Carson's fault, but I mean, also he was the one hurt and probably was not in his right mind when he did it. But
Yeah, I know.
it's still just a whole thing where like if it, I, I know it's hard with like media being like hand in hand with the world today, but
Hmm.
it's still just like, when things happen, sometimes they just shouldn't be posted.
Exactly. Like, there's no need to make drama public because it just, I don't know. I don't understand that. Which, one of the reasons to why I stopped doing gaming videos, because I used to do gaming videos and like I used to do a ton of Counter Strike and I used to do a ton of Fortnite. Um, I stopped doing that because when the OBS was turned off, everyone was arguing. We could never get along. And, like, it seemed like we were having a good time. Like in the videos, it seemed like we were having a good time, but we weren't when the OBS was turned off,
Yeah.
and that kind of ruined it for me because uh, why show the world people having a good time when all the people hate each other? You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
it's just I don't understand anything about life or
You ever get that feeling when you want to like it's just like, I just wish I'd wake up next day and it was like 10 years in the past and I could start over.
yeah.
Like,
Sometimes I get that. Yeah, I look back on my life because sometimes I end up looking back on my life and I just uh, I just think like I wish I could just go back and fix everything. I wish I could just go back and just be perfect, you know?
yeah, but then you wouldn't really be human now, would you?
I guess. Um, People say, and I completely agree with this. People say that it takes mistakes to grow as a person. You know, it's just
True. It's a fact of life.
it really is. You know, it really is.